This week, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Lake Worth and Lake Worth Beach. We're going to be all over the place today. We're going to be downtown. We're going to be by the beach. We're going to be at the casino where you can't lose any money. We're going to also look at this video from a perspective of investment. This area is rich in investment. If you're thinking about starting an Airbnb, this is an area I would definitely consider. Welcome to Lake Worth Beach. The first pro when it comes to living here in Lake Worth Beach is, look at this beautiful beach. We are right off the pier. This is in the center of Palm Beach, close to everything. This week, we're going to do something a little bit special. We're going to be looking at Lake Worth Beach, not just from a residential and living it, but if you want to invest in Lake Worth Beach, this is a gold mine. I have with me one of the agents here at Living in Palm Beach, Florida. People who have worked with us before, you know her. This is Melissa. She's a resident, not just a resident of Lake Worth Beach, but she's also an investor, and she knows that angle very well.
That home generates about $85,000 for the year annually on Airbnb. So it's a solid investment. Your cash on cash return on that is somewhere in the 10 to 12% range if you're an investor and familiar with that term.
We're going to look at a lot of the city here today, starting here with the beach. And this is, as you can tell, this is one of the nicest places I feel in all of Palm Beach. So one of the icons when it comes to Lake Worth is right behind it. It's called Benny's on the Beach. But Melissa, pros and cons. I mentioned the beach. What are some of the benefits if you're usually living here as a resident?
Yeah.
What are some of the benefits that you find living here in Lake Worth?
Definitely the proximity to the beach. So if you live in the immediate downtown here, the little historic area, you're within a mile and a half of the beach. I live in a historic downtown and I actually walk here to the beach when I come to see the sunrise or if I just want to go for an exercise walk or something like that. And like you said, we're right by Benny's. This has been here since the 80s. It's kind of a staple in Lake Worth Beach.
So one other thing I'd like to say is that we're in central Palm Beach. We're in central Palm Beach. We're also right up that way. Let me see if I can get it up that way. And it's a little bit cloudy today, so it's harder to see is West Palm Beach. So that's the center of the most populated city. That's the center of everything.
Yeah, so actually, I'll just tell you my little backstory here. In 2019, I purchased my first Airbnb property. I've been living in Lake Worth for about 8 years, and I saw the home prices kind of climbing up, and I was like, maybe I need to make something happen now and purchase an investment property. So I decided to purchase my first Airbnb on North M Street, and it turned out to be like a great investment. Everything appreciated so much that I purchased another one. So now I'm an Airbnb owner and also a property manager in Lake Worth Beach for other Airbnb owners. And something that people don't know about Lake Worth Beach, there are over 600 Airbnbs just in 1 square mile in the downtown.
I'll tell you this, one of the pros when it comes to this area is that it's got so much potential. Because we'll show you in a minute, there's a casino coming up. I'm not sure how much it's used as a casino.
Not an actual casino, sorry.
But it's called Lake Worth Casino, but no kidding. But they do weddings, I think you mentioned.
They do.
They do weddings and things like that, and it's a great place to rent out.
Yeah.
So this area has so much potential. And one of the pros, as we were saying, when it comes to living in Lake Worth, is investing in Lake Worth. This area is ripe for all that stuff. And a lot of people come down here for just like the weekend and stuff. This is one of the most popular places in Palm Beach to use the actual beach. So now we are in one of the most photographed places in all of Lake Worth Beach. Lake Worth is the big chair right off the ocean. But Melissa, what are you have one other big pro when it comes to Lake Worth. What is that?
So around this big chair, we'll go over there in a minute, but there's a few there's a Kilwins, there's another Benny's, there's a t-shirt shop. And this is kind of an area, especially in the wintertime, where they have events. So in the winter months from December until April, every other Friday night, they have a bonfire on the beach and live music on Friday evenings. So it's for locals or anyone in the area that wants to come. So they really capitalize on this space here. And it's amazing. They put a big hole in the ocean and everyone comes with their chairs and they surround this big bonfire. They have live music in the street. They block off the street here and you can go get a slice of pizza or you can go to Benny's, bring your own cooler, come sit on the beach and enjoy some live music in Lake Worth, and it's awesome.
Cool. And so we've been mentioning a bunch of pros. You know, this is a pros and cons video, so we got to give you a con. If you look out this way, you can see the ocean is sort of rough. We just had a little bit of a storm pass through here. It's right near sunrise. So one of the cons when it comes to living in Lake Worth Beach is the potential for hurricanes. every around September we have the period where we get the heightened part of the hurricane season. So we do get hurricanes here. The good news, the pro about that is one of the best parts about it is we are pretty much prepared when it comes to that. One of the cons when it comes to this point is that our insurance, our homeowners insurance, is a little bit higher. So if you want to know what that's involved, what that's all about, reach out to Living in Palm Beach, Florida. We can go through all that. But one thing I have definitely found, one of the ways to fight it is in terms of dealing with that is is new construction, because new construction is a lot more affordable when it comes to insurance. Again, one of the cons when it comes to living in Lake Worth Beach and Lake Worth is the threat of hurricanes. So we are now in front of the world famous Lake Worth Casino. A lot of shops here, but one of the biggest pros when it comes to the Lake Worth Casino is
It's not a real casino, so you cannot lose your money here.
so it is the most affordable casino in the whole entire world because you don't lose money there. But that's like as Melissa was saying, they do events up there. People do rent it out for weddings and things like that. And this is such a picturesque area that it really is. It's great to have this. I sort of feel that they could do more with this area.
They really could. There's so much opportunity here. It's just, getting the people in here to enjoy everything. But it's a great area. I'm telling you, the downtown here is amazing. And there have been businesses come in and out of the downtown like any other urban area. But there are the staples there that have been there for years and years and years. And they'll keep coming back. And it's such an opportunity with the beach. And there's a park on the Intercoastal, the downtown, and everything is so close together. It's awesome.
One of the things, too, about the location is we are really on Palm Beach Island. So if you go up there, you have mansions, 50, 60, 70, 80 million dollar mansions. And this is right here. So what we have up here too is a lot of condominiums. As we've said in the past regarding condos, there is somewhat of a risk, but this area is ripe with condos.
Yes.
What I was saying is that up this way, there's a fair amount of golf around here too.
There's a lot of golf. So I think I was mentioning before, there is a municipal golf course in Lake Worth Beach. I think we're going to walk by maybe. Check it out. It's right along the Intercoastal, and it's pretty inexpensive to play. It's a public course. You can go hop in there anytime. In the summertime, the rates are like downwards of $25 for a round, and you can really not find that anywhere for another public, decent golf course that you want to view for. And they also have a little bar there, restaurant, salsa.
Yeah, so I would say this. One of the pros when it comes to living here in Lake Worth Beach and Lake Worth is that there's a ton of activities, golf. And one thing I want to say too is that, and I think we can check this out now if you like, that way, it is the fishing and the water sport capital of the world. So now we just came down to the Lake Worth Pier. We're walking the pier. This is one of the longest piers in the area. Lake Worth and then Juno Beach are the two big ones that they have here in Palm Beach. The water is rough, and we got some brave soul out there that's, I don't know, what is he?
Stand-up paddleboarding.
Stand-up paddleboarding.
In the middle of the Whitecap Ocean.
And he's a brave man.
Yeah.
So far he's still on his feet. But like I was mentioning, this is like the water sports capital of the world, the boating capital of the world. And the only place that might be better is in the Florida Keys, which is right down that way. Yeah, just down that way. So I take a vacation down there. It's one of the pros when it comes to living in this area is we have so many great places to vacation. In the Florida Keys, Key West is one of the best. So I'm going to turn this camera around for a second. I'm going to show you all the people fishing, and I think you'll be impressed.
I've actually been fishing off this pier.
Yeah, like how big of a fish can you catch?
I mean, you can catch like I don't even know how many pounds they are. Maybe like a 50-pound grouper.
Wow,
it's crazy.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So here we're on the pier. One of the things I want to show you guys is back. Let me see if I can do this correctly. Back this way. Those are condos. We briefly touched on condos. How much those people? I'm guessing a lot of them. I'm not guessing. I sort of know. a lot of those guys are seasonal people, aren't
Yeah,
they?
there are a lot of seasonal people that come into the condo. So it's not really that neighborhood feel. I mean, you get the people that are there in the wintertime from December until April, but then they're vacant. And a lot of times, if you're sitting on the beach here in Lake Worth Beach, there's a lot of boarded up windows because people are just not at their property during the summer.
Living in Palm Beach, Florida, we help people relocate from other parts of the world to here, and we see this a lot. And what I'm about to tell you is, I'm gonna snowbird, which means they're gonna be here in the wintertime and then go back in the summertime to wherever they are, Maine, New York, New Jersey, Chicago. And then but they'll winter here. They start that way, but they always become Florida residents.
They do.
They almost always become Florida
People
residents.
don't want to leave.
They don't. It might take a year, it might take two, but that's actually pretty common. But a lot of these condos, you will find that these are snowbirds, people that are there, and they could always rent them out, right?
It depends on the HOA, actually. A lot of these condo buildings don't allow any type of rental for the first X amount of years, 1 to 2 years. And sometimes there's a restriction, like they can do minimum 6 months. So they would have to get a tenant that's in there for 6 months while they're not in the property.
Yep.
But yeah, and there are definitely a lot of snowbirds. We get a lot of snowbirds for the Airbnb part too. So the busy season for Airbnb is, again, December to April, because that's when the snowbirds are here. So that's when you get the highest money for your bang for your buck and income wise. And yeah.
Well, one of the things that I think is very important that Melissa just said is that you need to work with someone who understands this, because there are rental restrictions, lots of HOAs. I estimate about 85% of the properties here in Palm Beach are sort of restricted by some kind of HOA, and you need to know what you're getting yourself into. If you go and try and get an Airbnb and you can't rent it for more than once a year,
yeah, you need to know that ahead of time.
You need to know that. You need to work with someone who understands that.
Yeah, and one of the investment perks about Lake Worth Beach, if you're purchasing a single family home here in like the downtown area, there's no HOA. So you have no restrictions. Yes, there's things through the town or the county that you need to pay attention to, but there's no gated community in the immediate downtown, so no HOA, no rules and regulations on what you can and can't do with your property. So
and stick around, guys, because we are going to go into one of Melissa's HOA, one of her Airbnb properties. We're going to give you, if you're an investor and you want to invest in this property, you want to reach out to us here at Living in Palm Beach, Florida. You can work directly with Melissa. She has great experience with this. And we're going to go check out some of that and give you a handle. If you're thinking about, starting an Airbnb, this is a video you're going to definitely bookmark and watch for the future. So one of the pros when it comes to living in Lake Worth is it an elaborate, artsy downtown.
Very eclectic.
Very eclectic. And it's a lot of great restaurants.
Yes, there's a lot of great restaurants. You get all different cuisines. There's many different options, which is amazing, especially if you live within walking distance here. I live actually on this street over here that we're standing in front of. I walk 5 blocks to come to downtown, and I can go out to eat and have a glass of wine, and there's a couple shops. So yeah, it's awesome.
And when it comes to restaurants, this one is maybe one of my favorite in all of Palm Beach. It's called Paradiso. Great wine list, great food,
great Italian food,
and there's a lot great Italian food. But there's a lot of restaurants like this. So let's walk around downtown and see what else we can find. So we're walking down downtown, and Melissa just pointed this out. It's great. Well, first off, you have a Rustica Italiano. It's really good. And then across the street, you have a bike shop.
It's a bike shop. Yeah.
So, Melissa, why is it, if you're an Airbnb person, why is that so good?
So this shop, you can rent bikes from. So people coming into town, they want to ride their bikes around. It's a very walkable, bikeable town. So they come and rent bikes here, and they actually deliver them to your property for you. So it's like a win-win for everyone.
Awesome.
There's more than restaurants here too. We're just walking by, and then you can cheat over to the side over here. There's a kickboxing place. There is a hair salon. There's a bunch of little shops everywhere as we're walking, so you really have everything here.
Yeah, one of the benefits to living here is that there's so much here. They do events, like Melissa was saying. They do like what is that? Those
street painting festival.
The street painting festival.
The largest festival here in Lake Worth Beach, and it's been here for I think 25 years, 26 years. What they do is they block off both of the main streets. So right now we're on Lucerne. This is where you have a couple like nicer restaurants, and then Lake Avenue is the main spot where there's more bars and restaurants over there. But they block off both of these roads, and they have chalk artists come in, and they actually paint on the streets in 3D, and so the whole entire street is just filled with chalk art, and it's a big festival here for 3 days. It's really fun.
They advertise it well every year.
Yes.
One thing I want to bring up is too, I've never been. I've actually,
Oh my God.
once I would try to, but the parking was insane.
The parking is insane, but they do have a shuttle bus. But that's one of the benefits if you live here, you just walk. So I usually invite my friends and family over to my house that is walkable to downtown. So, and then we walk five blocks down the street, and here we are.
So plan accordingly.
Yeah, plan accordingly. We also get a lot of activity for Airbnbs on that weekend because people know about it. You even have people coming up from like Miami area and stuff to go to this festival. And it's a hot weekend for the investment part of it for Airbnbs too. And I know I mentioned I have the one, but I also manage them for other people. So the one that we're going to go to after this is one that I own. And then I also manage the one for the neighbor next door. So there's just a lot of activity on that specific weekend too.
Purpose. So what I find is places like this, they always revive. I got these bugs bothering me.
It's like gnats
And we just had a rain here. That's one of the reasons why. So one of the cons when it comes to living in Lake Worth is there are bugs in the morning after it rains. They have a lot of places like this. They change over, revitalize themselves. This is a restaurant that's doing exactly that.
Yes.
We talked a little bit off camera. We talked a little bit about this. So if you Google like crime in Lake Worth, it might not be favorable, Melissa, right?
It doesn't look too good based on the numbers, but there are so many different pockets in Lake Worth. You really have to look at the specific area. And if you want to work with someone that knows the exact areas of Lake Worth Beach, that's what you need to do. You need to call someone or be, with us that knows the specific areas.
Yeah.
Where we are now is a great little pocket of Lake Worth Beach. When you're downtown, we've got the historic homes. It's very safe. But if you go a little bit further west on the other side of Dixie Highway, it's not so great. I mean, I don't even know what to call it, but it's just, people don't take care of their homes as well as they do over here on the east side. So it's definitely something to take into consideration.
There are some great places, but you got to be careful. And then I think that's also true when other areas around this area, like West Palm Beach, I think is notorious for that.
It is.
You have some of the worst neighborhoods in Palm Beach are in West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Sorry, West Palm Beach.
Yeah,
but they have some of the best as well.
Yeah, they're right down the street from the over $1 million homes, but then you go 3 blocks the other way, and then you're in a not so great neighborhood.
So what's this restaurant coming up? Let's go take a look.
This is one of my favorite breakfast spots. We might need to go there after. It's called Vincent's. It's a French bakery. The people that own it are actually from France. I come here all the time because I live right down the street, walk here. They don't open till late, so no one's here yet, but it's so cute. It's like you're transported to France. I swear, they have the best quiches. Fresh croissants every single day.
It looks amazing. I've never eaten here.
Oh, great.
It looks amazing. I'm going to turn this camera around so you can see what we're talking about. Talk about French charm in the heart of downtown Lake Worth. So let's talk about something else a little bit. We talked about this again off camera.
Yeah.
One of the cons when it comes to living in Lake Worth is, we get this a lot. We work with a lot of families.
Yes.
And schools. That's one of the big questions. And if you look at the schools in Lake Worth, it might not show favorably.
You're not the highest rated.
Yeah, but I will say this. I'm from New York. Melissa's from New Jersey.
We're from the Northeast.
When I moved down here, people were warning me about the schools.
Yeah.
I will say this, is that we have more choices here than ever before. Than I've ever had living up in New York. As an example, there are charter schools, there are magnet schools, there are private schools, and my kids, I have 3 children that went through the process of schools, and these bugs are killing me.
I know.
That went through the process of schools, and they almost never went to the school they're districted. So if you want help on schools and some guidance on how that works, reach out to Living in Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay, so now we're in front of Oceana. So this is a brand new restaurant to Lake Worth Beach, but they have been located in Lantana, Florida, which is just south of here, I think for the past 30 plus years. And they decided that they wanted to invest in Lake Worth Beach. They bought this property here. It used to be a social working place, like a co-working spot or whatever. They bought it, they completely renovated it, and now they're located here in Lake Worth Beach. But this restaurant is amazing. They are a true farm to table, chef style. They have pizza, they have dishes, they have everything. They even imported their pizza oven directly from Italy, so it's very authentic. It's an awesome little spot. Usually, obviously, it was raining this morning, but they have tables outside and they have a whole patio in the back as well. And the inside, if you just Google Oceana and Lake Worth Beach, it's just adorable. They did it really well.
So one of the pros I would say about that is that when you see businesses invest in areas like this, that's a sign that there's growth here and opportunity. One of the pros when it comes to living in Lake Worth Beach, Florida. We are in the center, literally the center of Lake Worth right now. They do events here, right?
They do events here. So this stage behind us, if there's any type of festival or event going on for a holiday, like Christmas tree lighting, whatever, they have a live band back here, and there's always like kids running around in the area playing, and live music right behind you, and like this beautiful, I mean, I like it, colorful building. This is actually where you turn on your utilities if you're living here. And then these beautiful banyan trees on the other side.
I was about to say, Google banyan trees.
They're all
these trees have got to be, I don't know how old.
pretty. They're I don't know.
Hundreds of years, over 100 years old. So I think one reason we wanted to stop here is we are literally in the center of Lake Worth.
Yep.
The library's right down this way.
Been there times.
We met.
Or they put the Christmas tree, like for the holidays, it'll be right in the middle of this square here, and they'll have a whole, tree lighting festival, and food trucks and stuff in the street, live music over here. It's just a nice spot for the middle of town.
We're now in the world famous Lake Worth Playhouse. I say that kiddingly. Locally, it is a pretty big deal. My daughter's actually had been in some plays here. This area of Lake Street, there's a lot of nice restaurants. So it's like our form of Broadway. You can go to a play. You can go to some of these nice restaurants. Mario's is right there. We just talked about that.
Spot.
Used to be in Lantana, you're saying, right?
Be in Lantana, and just like Oceana, a couple years ago, they decided to move their business over to Lake Worth Beach. It's just a little bit busier here and a little more opportunity for them as a business owner too.
So, and then you have a raw bar down there. It's Dave's Raw Bar.
Dave's?
I have a long time ago. Yeah.
They have really good seafood, and they have really good, burgers and sandwiches and everything like that. That's one of the local, spots where everyone in town goes all the time. Like the bartenders know me and my fiance. We go in there and see the same people all the time. So
one of the pros when it comes to living in South Florida in general is that we've got some great seafood places.
We do.
I mean, and we get it fresh. So it's like they catch them like, well, you see those guys fishing. It's right near there.
Probably one of those people.
And then it might be one of those people, and then they bring it over here. So it's one of the pros when living here in Lake Worth, Florida. Remember I said Florida is the boating capital of the world? Well, here's the boat ramp, and if you have an extra wide boat, you can take this. And there's a lot of nice things right around here, right?
Yeah, there is. So I was just saying to Ray, if you own a boat and you don't live directly on the water, you hook it up to your trailer, come to this parking lot here. It's a public boat ramp, and you can drop your boat right in the water right here.
And they do
boats, paddleboards, all the things.
And they do the fireworks here too.
They do. 4th of July, there's a big festival. They actually have a make your own boat based on the neighborhood in Lake Worth Beach. So depending on what neighborhood you live in, each little neighborhood or little pocket area of Lake Worth Beach does a contest, and they build their own boat, and they have a contest where they go out and see who can get to the little island first and back in their homemade boat.
That's awesome.
So 4th of July, they do the fireworks here. They have a big festival thing, and yeah.
Two other interesting things we were talking about this on the way. Two other big interesting things. Let's start with the golf. Tell us about the golf.
Yeah, so on the other side of the road over here along the Intercoastal, there is a municipal golf course. So I think I was saying before when we were over at the beach, it's pretty inexpensive to go play there. It's municipal, it's public. You can pop out there anytime you want. It is a little bit busy in the winter when all the snowbirds and stuff are here, and the prices range from anywhere from $70 to $100 for a round. But in the summertime, you can get out and play for like $25.
That's awesome.
Especially in the afternoon, because a lot of people, I mean, it is hot in the summer, but, go out and golf, and for $25, that's a steal.
Awesome. And then the other thing that I think is a really big deal is right over there is the Gulfstream Hotel.
Gulfstream
which
Hotel.
Which they really need here, don't they?
They do. There's no hotel here. The Gulfstream, little backstory there. It's been around for, I think, since 1920, so it's a historic building. It closed down and has been vacant for, I think, 25 years. There's been a few different developers that have tried to purchase the property and renovate it and turn it back into a hotel. Some of their plans got denied, but finally there's a developer in there that is renovating the Gulfstream, and it's projected to open at the end of 2026, I believe. But in my mind, this is really important if you're going to purchase an investment property, because you want to make sure that there is money being poured into the town where you're going to invest in for that appreciation. So that's really going to bring more tourism. Is it going to be competing with your Airbnb? Not really. It's just going to bring more people. They're going to have weddings there. There's going to be a nice restaurant downstairs. You're going to have a view of the Intercoastal here. So I think it's really like a great appreciation opportunity for the other properties in Lake Worth Beach, and to have that hotel for locals too. I heard back in the day before I moved here, that was like the spot to go. They had a very like speakeasy type of bar in there. People would hang out. It would be like the local crowd, gathering there, and it's been closed for so long. So I'm really excited to see what happens when it's going to get opened.
For a city this large, you need a hotel like that.
You really need a hotel.
I mean, downtown West Palm Beach, which is right up the street, has got several of them. And in order to promote, the downtown area, I think that hotel is very much needed.
I think so too. And one other point, I know I was telling you this before about the golf course. The city just got an unsolicited proposal from a development group, I think they're called Horizon, for Jack Nicklaus, the famous golfer, to come and redo that whole entire golf course and put a hotel on it. So that would just be another addition to Lake Worth Beach for appreciation for properties.
So when it comes to investments, this is one of the places I really think that if you're looking for like investment opportunities in Palm Beach, this is one of the areas I would definitely consider.
Definitely.
Over on Snook Island, which is literally right adjacent to the bridge here, there's signs for manatees here, believe it or not. So if you don't know what a manatee is, look it up. Lots of boats mooring here as well. So this is just one of those areas. And by the way, I took a video, a little short video of it. There's the Lady of Lake Worth right there. So you want to live in Lake Worth Beach, you want to invest in Lake Worth Beach. Well, here's a couple of things we want to show you. We'll talk about some neighborhoods. This is a typical neighborhood. Later, we're going to talk about residential in the western part of Lake Worth. But here today, here we are now, I should say, we're in the investable part, the eastern part of Lake Worth. Melissa, tell us about this neighborhood.
Yeah, so this is a pretty typical Lake Worth Beach neighborhood. You have some really well-kept homes, and then you have some people that have been here for a long time and don't really take care of the front of their property. There's a lot of historic homes in this neighborhood. This is actually the historic district from about a half a mile to the north of us and to the south of us. So it's very eclectic. Again, you see the one that we're in front of right now is a concrete block built in the 1960s. And if we were going to go a little bit further down, you get some that are built in the 20s with very, lots of vegetation everywhere from the front and bougainvillea and palm trees and everything like that. So very typical Lake Worth Street, in middle of the road.
So this is like this house here. Let's say you could buy a house like this and make it into an Airbnb pretty easily. Like any of the houses like that here on the street.
Yeah, you can. So the one that we're in front of right now, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a pool in the backyard. So that's a really good proposition for an Airbnb in the area.
Let me turn the camera around and show you what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, and down this street, and this is let me turn this around. This is a long street, and this is all very walkable to where we were before, to downtown, right?
Where we were in downtown, this is about a 10-minute walk. You're about a half a mile from everything that's in downtown. And then you're about a mile and a half from the beach. So you can also walk to the beach if you'd like to from the downtown area.
19 years ago, my family and I relocated to this beautiful part of the world we call sunny South Florida, and we haven't looked back. Today, we truly find an honor to help people, perhaps like you, do the exact same thing. So if you're thinking about relocating or thinking about investing in this area, and you want to ask questions from people who have actually done it before, well, there's a few ways to get a hold of us. Down below is our email address. That's one great way. Also on the screen, you see our phone number. You can either call or text that number, but literally two of the best ways is in the description and the comment section. There's a link. Click on that link. What that'll do is have some time for us to speak, either through a phone call or through a Zoom, whatever way you feel most comfortable. In any case, we have your back when it comes to relocating here to sunny South Florida. So Melissa just tells me that this house was built in the 20s. This is like one of the she tells me it's one of them. She knows this area well, as you could probably tell. This is one of the nicest streets to really invest in. I could just tell it looks super nice.
Yeah,
Let me
well kept.
I briefly want to tell you, if you're looking at like in the residential area, here's a couple of neighborhoods to look at. Look at Smith Farm. Look at Journey's End. Journey's End. There's a few of them out there that are striking in my book. They're all Western, but here, this is Airbnb territory. And what we're going to talk a little bit about too is maybe some of the numbers.
Yeah.
Because there's some huge tax benefits to offering to working in the Airbnb space. But tell us about this street and the history in terms of an Airbnb's
so the
standpoint.
Street we're on right now, it's South Palm Way. There's a north and the south, but this is the south end. And the whole entire street from 5th Avenue to 18th, which is behind us, there's a median. And I was just telling Ray before this, like during the holidays, they come and they decorate the whole entire median. It's just very nice because you get the green space in the middle of the home. So like each side of the street is divided by this median in the middle, and it's just a very tree line.
Let's show them what that's all about. Like if you look here, like that's in between the houses.
You see a lot of people out here, walking their dogs. It's a perfect street to take your pup for a walk. And if you go 1 block to the east here, that's the intercoastal right there. So you're very close to the water.
Wow, the location. So
Yeah.
let's talk about price a little bit. So
Yep.
if someone were to buy a house on the street, what do you think they have to put out?
I can tell you exactly the Airbnb that we may go into in a couple minutes. I can tell you exactly what I bought it for. So in the beginning of 2024, I bought this home for $600,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a pool in the backyard and a little tiki bar that I renovated the shed and turned it into a bar. And then numbers wise, just to give you an idea, that home generates about $85,000 for the year annually on Airbnb. So it's a solid investment. Your cash on cash return on that is somewhere in the 10 to 12% range if you're an investor and familiar with that term. But it's pretty much you're getting 10% on your initial investment every year. So if you compare that to the stock market or any other type of real estate investment, whether it's a long-term rental, you really capitalize on that cash flow with the short-term rental thing.
Those are strong numbers, and you can use it as a strategy to hedge your taxes.
You can. So I was just telling Ray about this before too. So if you've never heard of something called a cost segregation study, you got to look it up. But pretty much someone comes in and does a study on your property to see how many things in that property you can depreciate. And if you're familiar with depreciation in general on your taxes, you can depreciate your property at X amount per year. It's either over 25 or 39 years, I think is the numbers. But with a short-term rental, there's a loophole called the short-term rental loophole. You can bonus depreciate all of that depreciation in year one. So it is a one-time thing. So what you do is you get this study done, and then they come in your property, and then you get a whole depreciation sheet, and your CPA or whoever you work with for your taxes, you can depreciate that whole entire amount as of 2025. And again, if you look it up, there's a percentage based on the year. 2025 is 100% bonus depreciation. So what that means is if you're a high income W-2 owner or a self-employment person, you can decrease your tax liability by almost 100%. So I'll just give you an idea. I have another property in Jupiter, and I bought it for $630,000. I was able to bonus depreciate over $300,000 for my 2024 taxes. So that really decreases my tax liability as a self-employed person. You wipe out your tax bill pretty much. And if you're a high income W-2 earner, you can get all of that tax money back.
Well, so
really,
that's incredible. Now, I know some of this stuff might be sounding a little bit complicated. It is a little bit.
It is a little bit,
but reach out to us. We can help you. If this is what you're thinking about, you can work directly with Melissa. She knows this segment of the market really well. Reach out because it is complicated. Set up that Zoom. I don't say this often enough. If just set up a Zoom with us, and we can talk about how tell us what your strategies, your goals are.
Yeah,
we can help you find out a way that you can invest and live here in Lake Worth, Florida. Yeah. So we're walking down this same street, and there's a few houses that have a history and are notable. Melissa, tell us a little bit about some of these homes that we're seeing.
This one over here is directly across from my property, so I know it pretty well. And it actually just sold for, I think, about $900,000. But it's a Spanish-style, mission-style home that was built in 1922. They put an addition on it, and it has an oasis of a backyard. I mean, you think from the front there's nothing back there, but it is a tropical oasis back there.
Let's turn the camera around. I can at least show you the front of this. I love that they call it Villa.
I know that
Paradiso. It's one of those things that when you name your home, you know you're doing something right.
Exactly.
And then there's another one up here. Let's walk up to this next one.
These are just like a little piece of history of Lake Worth Beach, the ones that were built, before the 40s. My property over there was built in the 60s, but a lot of these were built in the 20s and the 30s, and it really just captures that eclectic feel of our downtown area. Just every house is different. It has its own look and feel, and I'm telling you, these things have tropical backyards that you don't even know that are there from the front.
I believe it. And here's the deal: is I've lived here 19 years. I've never been on this street.
Oh, really?
No,
I love this street. It's one of my favorites.
And then you have in the backyard these. I know Palm Beach Island has a lot of places like that where you go in the backyard and it's just like a tropical oasis, and you wouldn't know. But here, so this is one of the things about living and investing here in Palm Beach.
Yeah, and this is, like we were saying before, this is a hot street for short-term rental properties because you're so close to the water. You're very close to downtown. A little bit further than we were talking about before. This is about a mile to downtown, but people can rent those bikes and bike to downtown, bike to the beach. It's a great spot.
And the other factor is you need to be aware of the rules rules and regulations? And Melissa, you're saying there's no HOA.
There is no
on this
HOA
street
here. Now, there are certain license requirements that you need to get in Palm Beach County. I could just give you a general idea. There's a tourist development account that you need to get with Palm Beach County. You need to have a use and occupancy inspection from Lake Worth Beach. So you need to make sure that you get those requirements before you start your short-term rental. So that's another reason. If you want to pick our brain about the short-term rental space in this area, just reach out. But yeah, you need those couple licenses. But other than that, there's no restrictions on short-term rentals in this non-HOA area of Lake Worth Beach.
Another great reason to book that Zoom call. So here is exactly an Airbnb. So these people just checked out, actually. And let's go see. I mean, sometimes, some people are really good about how they leave it. Other people are not. It's one of the things, if you want to learn about how to manage these things, we can also help you with that. But let's have a look around.
So yeah, not too bad. I usually give specific checkout instructions, like just stuff like, put the towels on the ground in the bathroom. Obviously, they just put it in the middle of the floor. But like, strip the beds that you use, put the towels in a pile that you use.
This is a super nice kitchen, Melissa. So this is what you paid $600.
I paid $600 for this. Yes.
This is nice. And whoops. And she tells me, and I'm looking forward to seeing this, the best part of this yard is the backyard.
It's definitely the backyard.
So let's go have a look. I think she called this right. Have a look at this.
So yeah, we got a saltwater heated pool for the people that come in the winter. You got outdoor dining, you have 6 lounge chairs, you have a fire pit, a mini putt-putt, a poolside bar, a pergola, a grill, a TV outside, and this is just some people, move the furniture when they're here. This is usually over by the fire pit, but
wow.
No, and it's very private back here. I know we were just in the street, but like you just feel like you're in this private oasis here. There's palm trees on either side. There is no one behind you, so it's a really private area for people to come on vacation.
So we were just talking before getting here. Is that these people that were here for a week?
Yep.
What kind of rent could you expect?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on the time of year. In the summer, I would say the average daily or nightly rate at this type of property is going to be anywhere from $200, $300 a night. In the busy season, in the wintertime, you can get upwards of $600 to $800 a night, especially like around a holiday time. So it really depends on the time of year. It fluctuates. But one thing to keep in mind, if you are a short-term rental investor, you need to be using dynamic pricing. So you need to have that tool that's going to adjust the pricing for you based on the demand in the area. That's really how you optimize your revenue.
It's one of the things to know when it comes to investing in Lake Worth, Florida. So one of the things you could do is, you get in a place like this, you could be creative, like Melissa was with this. And I could tell, I didn't notice it, but it's covered by these things. There's some.
I think this is some type of like, not jasmine, but like some type of vine that grows. And it was here from the previous owners, but it really thrives. It gives you that.
But it's a shed.
Tropical.
This was a shed. And now look at it, what it looks like. Check this out.
But yeah, I got a mural painted in here, did a little poolside bar. We have some outdoor glasses. And one of the coolest parts, I think, I love it. I created a guest wall. So I give people Sharpies and they can sign in, where they came from, blah, blah. So we have some people signing on the walls up here, over there. It's pretty cool. But this is one of the things I was telling Ray, if you're going to be a short-term rental investor, you need to optimize your space, because this is just another amenity for people to come on vacation and want to book your property. Yes, there's a pool back here, but if you didn't have these extra things, you'd be competing with so many other Airbnbs in the area. So you really need to optimize and make sure you have like standout amenities.
So we were just talking, Melissa, you want to like look for an investment where you have a high occupancy rate, right?
Yeah.
What's the occupancy rate like on this?
So I was just telling Ray, on average, this is about 75% for the entire year. Now in the winter time, when the snowbirds are here, it's about 95, sometimes 100%, depending on when people are coming. Next winter, I have a snowbird coming for the entire month of February. So obviously that's 100%. In the summertime, that is our quote unquote slow season. So it's about 50 to 55%, but on average for the year, it's about 75%. And it's really about like maximizing, that pricing strategy and your occupancy to get the most bang for your buck for your like yearly income. So solid numbers. Like I mentioned before, we did $87,000 for the last 12 months. So for a $600,000 purchase price, that is a solid return on your investment.
And it's also when you're buying an investment like this, It's not your traditional mortgage. It's a little bit more of an investor loan, right?
You have to get an investment type of loan. So typically they're going to require 20% down. There are some options for 15%. I just had a client that closed on one for 15%. She had a relationship with a bank, so she was able to get that. But on average, I would estimate for 20% down and a tiny bit higher interest rate. Now, when I purchased this a year and a half ago, I believe my interest rate is 7.125. So it's not even that much higher than a primary mortgage right now. It really depends on the lender that you're working with too. There's a specific type of loan that you can get for investment properties like this if you don't have the debt to income ratio to qualify for it. It's called a debt service ratio coverage loans, where they take the market rent for the property to qualify for you. So no pay stubs, no income qualifications, put that 20% down, have reserves in your name for 6 months of mortgage, and you're able to qualify for that debt service type of loan.
Another reason to reach out to us. We can help you walk through the process when it comes to investing here in Lake Worth, Florida. Lake Worth, Palm Beach, investing in Lake Worth, paradise here in South Florida.